So I am reading a book now, written by Admiral William McRaven. I think it's pretty popular out there right now. It's Make Your Bed. It's a very simple read, right? And so, the first chapter is about completing a project every day, i.e. make your bed. Chapter 6 is titled, You Must Dare Greatly. Chapter 5 is titled, Failure Can Make You Stronger, right? So Admiral William McRaven ran the SEALs of the United States. And so it's about failure and how you overcome failure. And it's about daring, trying. Like, I think the skill set of people who are willing to try and fail is far more valuable than people who never want to try. And so I actually encourage all of you to get the book. I don't make any money on the number of books he sells, but it's a very easy read. I read it like in 2 hours one evening, and it really demonstrates the skills, not only of a good Navy SEAL, but I think of a good individual, a good professional.
Yeah, I would echo Paul's point on failure. Oftentimes in your internships, companies are not going to, prevent you from getting the full-time offer if you make a mistake, right? That no one, I think, is expecting you to come to a job as an intern and, do everything perfectly. So, mistakes and failure is inevitable in some ways, right? But it's what you do with that failure and those mistakes that speaks to, your character, right? So being able to listen to feedback, being able to learn from the mistake to prevent future mistakes, paying attention to detail. These are all really great ways to show your success. And we talked a lot about character. Elena pointed that out. That is definitely, really important in helping you get the job and then helping you succeed through it. But also having that technical background and being, technically prepared is also important, right? If you know you're going to be in Excel all day with your job, making sure that you're doing Excel trainings and that you've worked with Excel prior to your internship so that, you can really leverage that preparedness to perform, right? And not only perform, but exceed expectations. So it's really important that you're technically prepared as well. And then I would say just genuine interest, right? So, you can show interest in so many ways, right? Being inquisitive, asking questions, taking on lots of projects, but interest and showing that you like the job mean that you show up to work on time, right? Mean that you say hello to people in the office, whether or not they have a direct impact on whether or not you get that full-time offer. So it's really important that you also are a professional and really kind of maximize that summer internship or other experience to make sure you get that full-time.
Obviously, all of those things are correct, and I agree. And one of the things that I found that was very important, overall performance. So if an intern comes in and they have a good performance, then obviously that leans towards wanting to hire them. But one of the most important things for the intern is to get to know the boss and to get to know how that boss operates and try to be one step ahead of that boss in terms of supplying them with what they need. And that takes a certain amount of I think, a maturity to say, okay, you're the boss, this is what you're trying to accomplish, how do I fit in? So really reading your boss and being able to stay in front of them in terms of, oh, that's what that's for, let me go do that, and then bring it to the boss and start, and that gives your employer a sense of, oh, I can't live without this person. This person really knows me, and that's what I have found to be one of the key factors in wanting to hire someone full-time. I can't be without them because they do so much for me. Even though it's very small things, it's really taking the time to know what your boss needs.
When I was an intern while I was part of a master's program in Brooklyn College, one of the things that really helped me a lot is taking that ownership mindset. That ownership mindset leads to taking initiatives and identifying some of the needs that might be there. It's not only about taking the orders of like what you need to do, but identifying some things that you could have an initiative on and go and take a risk. Paul called it out earlier about not being afraid to fail. and just taking those small risks and showing that you're not there just to, do a job and leave, but you also have a willingness to take those dives and have that willingness. With that, there's also the side of being someone that shows adaptability and a willingness to learn. If you think that you know it all once you reach the job and you think you're set, it's going to be very hard to be able to learn the new skills to grow in the company. But when I feel like when an employer sees that you have that willingness to learn and to grow with the company, they see an investment in you to be able to bring you on for full time and actually grow with you and you grow within the company. And I mean, last thing that I would say that worked great for me is knowing your strengths and working towards them. We're not all going to be absolutely great and amazing at everything, but if we can really sit down and know what are our strengths and how we can bring those strengths to the table in the different projects, jobs that you're going to get throughout, it's going to make you shine a bit more, right? Because you're playing to your strengths and you're shining through them.
And for me, I approached the internship like it was a tryout for a position. I did not know they were looking to hire for my role, but every day I did show up with the intention to help out as a team as much as possible. I was present during meetings, not only listening and taking notes, but asking questions, bringing up my own ideas, stimulating the conversation. When I was at lunch with a colleague, I would talk about the meetings, so they would know that I'm listening and I truly cared about the projects and goals. For our program, every summer there are interns who are hired after, including last summer when we had, we were still in the beginning of COVID in that phase, and companies were still unsure about the future, but we still had 12 interns that were hired after the summer wrapped up. And we noticed that a lot of companies joined the program with the intention of maybe hiring. So the job description they would submit would be a job description for a role that potentially they can fill, and then they're looking for someone to be in full time. So always approach an internship like it's a tryout, because you never know, it may be, right? So be present, ask questions, and put 100% of your effort, because it definitely can impress people while you're there.
A lot of the time I feel like interns have a mindset, I'm just an intern, but you're an asset to the company. We're bringing you in because we have faith that you're keeping up with the program, the current trends, and we want to hear your ideas. Even if, it doesn't execute well, they want to know that you're curious about the role, about what the company is about and everything like that. So I would definitely say speak up, and just everything else that I think Edwin just mentioned, speak up, ask questions. I know it's really cliche, but no question is a silly question. I ask questions all the time. And my mindset till this day is I'd rather ask the right questions and produce good work or the right work for my boss than kind of be unsure about what I'm executing, because I do not like to second guess myself. And I think Kathleen mentioned being familiar with your supervisor and kind of learning their workflow. I think that's huge. And I agree with it. I think it also comes with time. When I first joined my company now, I was kind of unsure about what my supervisor's work style was, but within just a couple of months of working with her, I could really look at, a spreadsheet or a project and say, this is great, but I think Kim would really enjoy it if we did X, Y, and Z. So just like keeping things like that in the back of your mind, I think is really important as well.
Make sure to check out the My Career tab on the BC Navigator app, where you can track your career progress based on the amount of credits you've earned, stay updated on upcoming events from the Magner Center, and watch our videos for insight and advice on your career field.